Bricolage. Failure to masterpiece. Agents, alphabetic writing literacy. Agents, digital media, electorate. Orality, literacy, electracy. That's your neighbor. Your neighbor. Mm-hmm. So what you been doing today?
Huh?
What have you been doing today?
I'm away, I guess. I might borrow y'all to bed.
That's your bracelet under there.
Do what?
Your bracelet on your arm.
That thing too big.
As a child, I was always obsessed with my mother's cooking. My nephew, nieces, and I were available to assist her in the kitchen whenever she needed us. Whether it was stirring or taste testing, we were there to give our approval of her dishes. Long before dementia set in, my mother was one of the best cooks in our county and would be called upon to make anything from casseroles to desserts to breads to barbecue, you name it. And she cooked it, baked, or canned it. As she began her decline, we distributed her recipes among our family, with me gaining ownership of the many books, including 30 Years at the Mansion, The Texas Experience, Friendship and Food Texas Style, The Century League of Lonoke, and also Generations, to name a few. She was a bricoleur and worked continuously on her bricolage the best way she knew how. If there was a recipe that sounded delicious, my mother would try it. So we tried lasagna. It was so-so, and she added her own twist. Chicken enchiladas were a big hit, and we kept going back, adding things along the way. Some things we never tried, but then again, we were not concerned that we had not. My mother's books had certain recipes that we favored. Others had recipes that were better than others. The previous cooks, published for the world to see, had their own science of cookery down to a T. But my mother had the faith that she could make certain improvements by rolling the dice and playing the game her own way. One wrong ingredient added or missed, as was the case when she sometimes forgot the egg, or mismeasurement, meant the recipe was an epic fail. She would begin the process again, the next time making sure to pay attention. She spent much time revisiting certain dishes to determine how best to conquer them. Sometimes she won, sometimes she lost. But she kept reiterating until she had her masterpiece. People who bought her dishes continued to be customers because my mother had made things that appealed to their needs or situations. She loved to cook. Just as my mother had done with her recipes, calling confidence to discuss her processes, wins and failures, and taking time to perfect her gift of cooking and baking, which was her end goal, creators of our technologies have done the same. We have come a long way since the original bricoleurs of technology made their appearance at MIT, continuously working at their craft because they love the game of computing. Modern technologies have faced many iterations. Back in the day, we picked up a rotary or push-button phones to talk to others. Today, we have mobile devices, allowing us to connect via Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and even post to boards such as LinkedIn and Pinterest. Back in the day, we had printed text, and now we can read via computers, tablets, or mobile phones. Had it not been for the original bricoleurs and their love of what they enjoyed, creating and recreating in the technological space, our world would never have evolved into what we see in 2019. As for my mother, if she could, she still would use her printed cookbooks to enhance her culinary gift, her bricolage. Others' inventions she continued to enhance, adding a touch of this and that. It is the very thing that made her stand out. And me, well, I followed in her footsteps, a modern-day bricoleur, except that I used both the old and the new. Of my bricolage, the original bricoleur would be proud.